Hey everyone, it's Alex here. Today I didn't really want to do my Bug-Eye Manny character, so that's why I don't have the eyes, and I left them at my grandmother's house. So I will be doing a mature review of The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 4. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am still going to continue doing reviews for The Walking Dead. I originally, last week, was very fed up with them killing off Morales, and I still am, and I was done with the series. But, you know, I did not watch episode 4 last night at 9 o'clock, but instead at midnight, because my family told me it was such a good episode, and I wanted to watch it myself and give you guys my own thoughts. So I will be continuing The Walking Dead, even though it's not my favorite series now. It used to be one of my favorites, but I want to enjoy it and make reviews for you guys so we can criticize it and also give our positive reviews on The Walking Dead. Episode 4 is a beautiful episode. I enjoy the directing, and that's saying a lot, because since Scott Gimple jumped on, I haven't really enjoyed his episodes. And this episode, I really enjoyed Keen Ezekiel. You know, I've always criticized that he's a Keen and he's very corny. Well, this episode really explains to us who he is inside, and, you know, he's just putting on a joke, you know. We learned about him in Season 7, Episode 2, but since Episode 2, we really never got anything else, so I'm glad they focused on Keen Ezekiel in this episode. I think he's a great character, and I enjoyed his character. Another plus in this episode has to be the action. The action scenes are amazing in this episode. We have so many zombies. We have a truck chase scene, which I'm going to talk about in a couple minutes. A truck chase scene, and we have some awesome other scenes, you know, Keen Ezekiel holding the zombies off. It was intense in this episode, and I, for the most part, enjoyed these action scenes. They were very, very good. But like I said, about the directing again, I thought the directing was beautiful, showing Ezekiel running from his old friends as they turn into walkers. It's very disturbing and crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of like the beginning where they're all hugging, and then it shows them all dead around him. I think that's a really good directing part in the episode. I really enjoyed that scene. It was unique and cool, the way they directed that. Oh, another plus is Rick. Rick is still shown in episode 4. He's not just, you know, missing from the episode. And I think Scott Gimple has learned from his mistakes. They need Rick in almost every single episode because he is the main character. It is Rick's story. So I'm very, very happy they have Rick. And I'm very, very happy that for the episode 5 promo, Rick is actually in that promo as well. So it's not only about Negan. Thank God. That is a major plus, ladies and gentlemen. Because even if Rick's only in it for like 5 minutes, I don't care. They need Rick in every episode. Because Andrew Lincoln is such a great actor. He's probably my favorite character. I've always loved watching Andrew Lincoln play Rick Grimes. Great actor, and they need him in every episode because ever since Season 4, they've been taking him out of the show a lot, and he hasn't... Sometimes he's missing from like 3 episodes in a row, and I'm like, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. Oh yeah. So yeah. I also enjoyed Carol in this episode. She does get on my nerves a little bit. You can't really trust her anymore. I mean, we don't really understand what she's thinking inside. Is she just planning something the whole time? Or is she, you know, nice? Or is she mean? You know, there's always something inside of Carol that we don't really fully know about. She was surrendering to the Saviors, but of course it was a plan. I sometimes feel like everything Carol's doing is for a plan. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Another thing that I enjoyed was, well, the walkers. The walkers looked really, really cool in this episode. They were freshly turned. You know me, I love freshly turned walkers. They had like colors of green and, you know, white and gray. It was really, really cool watching the walkers in this episode. And, okay, let's get to the trucks. The car chase scene. This scene was amazing. I will have to say, it was amazing. We never saw anything like this in The Walking Dead. We had a guy shooting the machine gun off the back of the vehicle, and Rick and Daryl are going after the vehicle. I don't have a lot to say about Daryl. I think he's okay. He's okay character. He just feels like he's there. But the truck chase was amazing. It felt a lot like Indiana Jones. I don't know if it was like an Indiana Jones reference, but it really felt like it. And there was also a Last Crusade reference in there as well, I think, when Rick was climbing up the mountain and Daryl was waiting for him, and then a tiny reference, not a big reference, but a little tiny reference. You know, oh, is that kind of like is like Indiana Jones. It's what they're kind of making you think. But the truck chase scene was fantastic. I had no high hopes for this scene. I thought it was going to be like a montage scene with like Rick talking over, and it would have lasted for a second. But it was actually a pretty long truck chase. Of course, I wanted it to be longer, but I think it was good for what it is, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. We never saw anything like that in The Walking Dead, and I thought it was cool. I really did. Rick jumping in the other vehicle, pushing the guy out, was really, really cool. Now, let's move on to the... Oh, yeah, and Jerry as well. I think Jerry is a cool character, even though corny sometimes. You're a pretty cool dude. Shut up. He's cool, you know, with the axe and stuff. Yeah. So let's get into the flaws, and I do have a couple flaws with this episode, even though it is a pretty good darn episode. I do have a couple flaws, okay? Two minor flaws, well, one minor flaw and then two major flaws. So let's get into the minor flaw first, ladies and gentlemen. The minor flaw has to be with the Saviors. Ever since we were introduced to the Saviors, they somehow want to make them all overacting. Every Savior overacts sometimes, and most of these Saviors don't even make it out of the episode, and it just comes off as repetitive and formulaic, and kind of gets boring after a while. Every Savior is like, "Hey Rick, how's it going, Rick?" When we don't really even know these Saviors. We've never seen these Saviors, but they're like, "I'm gonna take you to Negan, Rick. I'm Negan, Rick." I'm like, okay, bring it down. We just want some normal bad guys. We don't want bad guys that always say, "Hey, Rick," because we've never seen these Saviors before. It just gets annoying and repetitive and formulaic sometimes, and it needs to stop. And also, sometimes the way the Saviors talk is so corny, and the dialogue is pretty bad. Like the guy with the glasses in this episode, I don't even know his name. But it got kind of out of hand in some scenes. Especially the part when he puts the blood on Ezekiel was really, really corny. I was like, well, what? I'm like, oh, okay. But it was just really stupid in that scene. This is a major flaw, has to be Shiva's death. And I think they killed off Shiva in episode 4. 1, because it was too much money for the CGI tiger. And 2, they didn't want to deal with it anymore. And they wanted King Ezekiel to be very, very sad and upset that Shiva died. And I think after this, Ezekiel will be a different character. And that's pretty cool. I really am happy that he's changing. He's not the same old king that he was. But I do have a flaw that Ezekiel he could have easily gotten out of there. The zombies are so slow. And Carol, Ezekiel, and Jerry could have made it out of there very, very easily, and I just don't get why they put Shiva where they did in the episode. Shiva comes out of nowhere and starts attacking a zombie horde. Ezekiel could have made it out easily. They were already moving pretty fast. They were getting out of there. And Shiva comes out of nowhere and just gets ripped apart that fast. And it felt very forced and rushed. It felt extremely rushed. I'm like, come on, Shiva, get out of there. But Shiva got ripped apart very fast. And I don't know, it's just me, but I would have preferred Shiva to have died at the fence part. I think this is what should have happened. Shiva should have came in at the fence part. She should have jumped on the zombies and got ripped apart and sacrificed herself to buy Ezekiel more time to get out of the fence. That is what should have happened, ladies and gentlemen. I don't really like the mud part where she just gets ripped apart for no reason. Ezekiel clearly could have made it out of there. The zombies are slow like slugs. It was stupid, okay? Now we have a major, major, major flaw, ladies and gentlemen, that could have broken the episode. It kind of did break the episode for me. I did enjoy though, the episode, but it's a major break. King Ezekiel, of course, got shot in the beginning of the episode, remember? Well, he limps in the beginning like, you know, you can tell his leg is hurt. But he's limping fine. He has his sword. And he's limping fine, okay? Until he meets this Savior with the glasses. The Savior with the glasses steps on his wound, steps on his body, crushes him, and it hurts him. And this causes Ezekiel to basically almost pass out. He can barely walk now. He requires Jerry and Carol to help him get back to the kingdom. And when Shiva dies, Ezekiel can't even stand. He can barely walk, and Carol and Jerry are trying to help him walk. But then at the end of the episode, Ezekiel is limping fine, just like at the beginning of the episode, like nothing went wrong. His leg got very messed up through the episode, and it's just hard to believe that Ezekiel can walk fine at the end. It really ruined the episode for me at the end, him limping fine. He still had a limp, but he was limping fine. Carol and Jerry were not helping him at all. And this really ruins it because his laziness killed Shiva. If he could have moved faster, Shiva probably would have not come out and tried to save him. And it's really Ezekiel's fault. You could say that Ezekiel is fueled by anger. He's fueled by frustration, and he's trying his mightiest to walk. That could be a reason, but I doubt it. I mean, I don't know. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I thought episode 4 was a great episode. I will rate episode 4 a B+. I enjoyed it. The action scenes, in Ezekiel's development, and the conclusion of Rick. Rick is still there. He's included. Sorry, the inclusion of Rick. All of the characters are doing good. I thought it was good that we took a break on the other characters and focused mainly on Ezekiel. So a B+. What do you think of The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 4? I will be back next week to review the next episodes, even if I don't enjoy the show as much as I used to. Even if the show's bad, I will still be enjoying it for you guys to review and, post it on this channel. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Leave a like on the video, comment down below, subscribe, do whatever the heck you want to do, and goodbye.